Fox News. Breaking news.
Kamala Harris is back on the national stage, and she just dropped a bombshell call to arms for Democrats. She wants the party to openly brainstorm abolishing the Electoral College, pack the Supreme Court, and turn Puerto Rico and D.C. into states. Her exact words frame it as a no bad idea session to neutralize red states. This is not quiet strategy talk. This is a public push to rewrite the rules of American elections and the courts. So what happens when one party openly debates gutting the system that has kept power balanced for centuries? Well, voters across America feel the weight when leaders target the Electoral College and the Supreme Court. These moves would hand more power to dense coastal cities and silence millions in the heartland states that deliver energy, food, and manufacturing muscle. Communities in rural America already watch as federal rules ignore their needs. Adding new Democrat states would lock in Senate seats and electoral votes for one side forever. And the Supreme Court would lose its independence if packed with activist judges. This threat hits your family, every family, because it decides who controls the laws on borders, energy costs, and parental rights for years to come. The 2026 midterms and beyond now carry higher stakes than ever. And while Democrats chase radical power grabs that threaten national stability, breaking news on the critical minerals front shows real progress in securing American resources. This breaking news, the company Saga Metals, trading as SAGMF in the United States and SAGA in Canada, they're back in the spotlight much sooner than expected. In less than 6 months, the company has moved at a pace rarely seen in the critical mineral space. In less than 48 hours ago, Saga announced a 100% drill success rate across all 57 holes at its radar project, and they did it ahead of schedule. And that alone would be major news, but it's only part of the story. You see, Saga added $10 million to its treasury through a strategic financing round that strengthens its position in the race for domestic supply chains. And these results come at a moment when secure American-sourced critical minerals directly support national defense and energy independence. So watch for the in-depth interview on this topic on Sunday, and check the link in the description for full project updates. That kind of rapid, disciplined execution stands in sharp contrast to the chaos that's unfolding inside the Democrat Party. Yes, the 2028 Democratic contest is heating up fast. There's also new polling that shows Kamala Harris pulling ahead of AOC in the race for the nomination. At the same time, Mark Cuban revealed the consultants who ran her last campaign refused to let her speak freely. That admission lines up with everything that voters saw in the last cycle. The party is splitting between establishment figures like Harris and hard leftists like AOC, who both want the same structural changes to rig the future outcomes. Polymarket reports this. New, Kamala Harris calls on Democrats to discuss abolishing the Electoral College, packing the Supreme Court, and making Puerto Rico and D.C. states. They're flagging it. But now, here she is laying out the full plan in her own words. Kamala Harris is now calling for Democrats to hold a no bad idea brainstorm where they discuss abolishing the Electoral College, packing the Supreme Court, making Puerto Rico and D.C. states, saying we've got to neutralize these red states from cheating. Unbelievable.
Look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it. And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College. We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court. We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. We talk about, that if we win the Senate, which we should and we will, then the Senate Judiciary Committee should have rules that they put in place so when these people come before as nominees to the Supreme Court and lie, that they are held to account and consequence. Not just that somebody goes on cable news and says they lied, but that there are rules in place to actually penalize people for lying to a Senate Judiciary Committee. That we agree that it is right to have ethics rules for Supreme Court justices. And let's put those in place. Let's talk about statehood for Puerto Rico and DC. These are the things I think that we've got to do. We've got to neutralize these red states from cheating, including blue states expanding their maps. And all of this, I think, is look, we got to fight fire with fire. These folks are playing to win. We got to play to win, too.
Yeah. So she wants that brainstorm to include packing the Supreme Court and handing statehood to Puerto Rico and D.C. And now Polymarket says Kamala Harris officially overtakes AOC in the 2028 Democrat primary race. So even as she pushes those moves, the new Polymarket odds show Harris overtaking. But honestly, which one would be worse for America? That's the question. Yeah. So with Harris now leading, that field 1X user is asking the direct question, which candidate would be worse, right? But here's Mark Cuban talking about some behind-the-scenes stuff that went on in the Kamala campaign.
When I was campaigning with Kamala, her biggest problem was her campaign would not let her sell. She's not a bad salesperson when you talk to her one-on-one, and she's smart, she's driven, but they did everything like as if it was all driven by a consultant, which it was. And you can't be that way in a world with Donald Trump. Donald Trump changed all the rules. The Democratic Party is dead. The Republican Party is dead. It's the Trump family business on the Republican side. It's nobody's business on the Democratic side. They don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do. He blames consultants for keeping Harris from selling her message, but Democrats are still pushing the same court packing scheme. AOC wants to pack the Supreme Court. According to polling, this is apparently the front runner. Listen.
According to some polling, this is apparently the front runner to be the Democrat Party's presidential candidate in 2028. Yes, in some polls, AOC takes the top spot away from Kamala Harris and Gavin Newsom, proving that Democrats in this country have learned nothing. It's clear, though, that AOC and her fellow party members have clear intentions for the Supreme Court should they regain the majority.
Say do something about it. What do you mean? Do something about the court?
Well, when it comes to the courts, there's court reform. There's a menu of things that we can look at. There's ethics reform. There is financial entanglements that we're seeing on the court. There are, of course, open discussions about expanding the court to match the number of circuit courts that we have, going from 9 to 13 specifically. There are a lot of those options.
So this is the issue. Here's the math on it, right? So right now it's conservative 6, progressive liberals 3. In order to get the majority on the court, you'd have to add 4, and all 4 would have to be progressive. So you get 7-6, and then next time Republicans have it, they would have to add 7 more. Eventually, you get to the point where you need to fill Yankee Stadium just for the Supreme Court, and nothing would ever get done. Terrible idea. Democrats you lost. Just live with it. Republicans lose sometimes. They live with it. You lost. Don't change the fabric, the structural foundation of the country, which the Supreme Court is there for that, to interpret the Constitution, not to change it, not to make it your way, not to make it our way, to interpret the letter of the law.
So the real story here is not just personalities. Both leading Democrat voices openly discuss court packing and ending the Electoral College. That's an attempt to permanently tilt the system after losing fair elections. Trump delivered wins on energy, borders, and the economy by following the Constitution as written. Democrats want to change the Constitution itself because they can't win under the current rules. This is panic dressed up as reform. You see, the Democrat Party is no longer hiding its desire to rewrite the rules of power. Kamala and AOC are competing to lead that charge, while Mark Cuban confirmed their campaign machine was the real problem. America wins when leaders protect the system that has worked for generations instead of tearing it apart. So share this report with every voter you know and drop a comment below and answer this yes or no question. Do you believe Democrats are trying to rig the system for good? and join the thousands of patriots who've already texted the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. They're bypassing the algorithm suppression of our work. They're getting direct messages right from me to their phones. I want you to get that too. And make sure you check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. We got some new America 250 gear ready for you. Stay vigilant and keep fighting for the America First future that we were promised.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.